Okay, I forgot to add a few things to that last thing. Um, the transportation here is really difficult. For us to travel and go to shows with our horse, or for any horse to travel, we have to, it's raining, let me get away from the sound of the rain. We have to get this like health certificate from the government, and we have to do blood exams on our horses every 60 days. We have to do a Coggins, which is anemia, sorry, too many languages. I can't speak any of them good anymore. And we have to do a thing we call it mormo. It's glanders in English, and we have to do that. We spend in Brazilian dollars about $150 every 60 days for each horse that we want to travel with. Once we get those blood work exams back, we take those with a letter from our vet saying that our horses are healthy and in good shape. Oh, there's Florence. Hello, Florence. That they are in good shape and not sick. So we have to pay our vet for that. And then we have to have a vaccination card to show that they were vaccinated. Molly, sorry, my dog is managing the neighbor's horses. And Molly. And then we have to go to the Department of Agriculture, the local one near us, and we have to pay, I think it's $17 now. Every year the price goes up a little bit, and we have to get this paper that says we can travel with our horses. Once we get to the show, we give that as soon as we get here. The vet inspects the horses to make sure they're the ones on the blood exams. And then we have to pay another 20 Brazilian dollars to go home, to get our exams back and go home. If you get caught on the road without these exams and without this permit to travel from the government, we call it a GTA, it is an $8,000 fine, Brazilian dollar fine. So it's a lot of bureaucracy. So we spend a lot of money just to go to the show, just on blood exams and the paperwork to travel with our horses. So I forgot to put that in there. So that makes things really hard here. And because they're only good for 60 days, by the time you send the blood exams in and get them back, it's really only about 45 days. I spend on average, because I have around five horses always that go, but I always have some here or there, on average between 800 and 1,000 every 45 days, just on blood exams, and this paper to travel is ridiculous, but that's what it is. So I think that's important to know. So if you think you want to come here and just jump on a horse and go to a barrel race, it can give you a really, really big headache. And somebody had asked me something else, and I had forgotten what it was that I'd wanted to say. I think it was about the training, but I don't remember now. Oh, the drugs. It was about the drugs. All of our major shows do have drug testing. If you get caught, sometimes they pick the winner, sometimes it's a random draw. You never know. And if you get caught, it's a fine, and then you as a rider are suspended for 6 months from competing. And I don't want to lie to you, but I think the owner is too. I don't think any of his horses can compete for 6 months, but I need to read up on that. I know for sure the rider can't. And the horse can keep going, but I think that's kind of wrong. I think if the horse is tested positive, it should have to stop too. We just had that case of that happening here. And then everybody kind of looks bad at you and thinks you win because you drug your horses. So because I run colts, I don't really give much. Like I said, every once in Molly, my dog again, the ATP, which is a natural thing, which is pretty awesome. You guys should really check into ATP. I have to really give a thumbs up on that. And like I said here, even Banamine, Bute, Dex, that's all considered dope. Sorry, in the barn here at the race. That's all considered doping, drugging. And I will say something here. I hope I don't get in trouble by any Brazilian trainers. But it seems like whenever there is a race where they know there's no doping, the times are a little faster. And the races where they know they'll get checked, the times are just a touch slower. So, just something I've noticed, not saying that it's true or not, but I have noticed that a little bit here. Since I mess with young horses, I don't have to worry about much of that. I don't follow much of that. Believe me, I need them to focus on these big patterns. And that's another thing I forgot to mention. Somebody asked me about breezing. Running in these big arenas all the time, you do not need to breeze your horse. The rodeo horses that run on little patterns all the time, yeah, you do need to breeze them. Some girls breeze them. I do not have this problem. I need more turn and less run. But I love it here. It's hard. It's really hard. the first couple years, I just cry. Still sometimes go home crying. I found it easier in the United States and even easier in Italy. Somebody asked me the difference between Italy, America, and Brazil. Italy, the competition there is not, there's some good horses and some good riders, but it's not near the level of the United States or Brazil. It's catching up, it's getting better, but they're still kind of a ways off. They're definitely getting better with some of their breeding programs and have brought some nice horses, the Italians, but it's nothing like Brazil and the United States. And the level here is something I've never seen. Somebody asked about the number of horses in the 1D. Let me tell you this, when I told you about the Chiratema, the 4D race, 80% of the horses are in the 1 and 2D. I mean, people don't take horses to the race if they're not very good because it's expensive. It's really expensive for us here in our money. If you do the conversion rate, it's not expensive for you, but for us and our money it's very expensive. So usually if you have the colt or the, the horse that's not so good, you maybe just take them close to your house. You don't spend too much money taking them out. Maybe go to some rodeos. Rodeos are a little cheaper. I'll talk about rodeos in another blog. That's something that I think a lot of you girls would be interested in. It's very, very different. But as far as breeding goes, I don't need to do that. I don't know many guys who do that. I had a Frenchman Sky mare once that was really ratty, and the guy who bought her told me he had to breeze her. But it's not something that's real common here. With our big arenas, we really don't need it. So, okay, just some things to catch up on. Okay, now I'm gonna go have dinner, and I will catch up with you guys later. Again, sorry that I'm not more prepared, but at least you get an idea. Thanks, guys.